This might be one of the best views in the whole of Thailand, but you better watch your step. Incredible viewpoints like this sometimes don't come easy. This overhanging rock on one of Thailand's most famous islands comes at the end of a tricky natural obstacle course. But before we could stand on that terrifying cliff edge, we had to get ourselves up there. In the last episode, we made the short journey from Koh Samui across to the incredible island of Koh Phangan, where our adventures took us up to the relaxed beaches of the north coast and one of the island's most beautiful stretches of coastline. Good morning and welcome back to another day in Thailand, where you join me from the shores of Thong Nai Pan Noi on the island of Koh Phangan. We are right in the north of the island today, where we're going to check out what is probably the best viewpoint on the whole island. But first, let me show you where we've been staying, which is right here on this beautiful beach. That morning, we woke up in Thong Nai Pan Bay, which is home to two very different beaches with very different vibes. Thong Nai Pan Noi in the south is the longest of the two, with a very laid-back hippie atmosphere. This place is quintessentially Koh Phangan, with relaxed beach shacks and budget hotels. But we stayed the night on the much smaller beach to the north of the bay, and Thong Nai Pan Noi is where you come for a pure vacation. This place is a proper island retreat. You'll find more upmarket resorts, as well as a small town with lots of nice bars and restaurants. Nightlife might be a stretch, but this definitely feels more lively than Thong Nai Pan Noi. And we stayed the night right on the beachfront here in one of those fancy looking resort hotels. So, let's take a look around. Welcome to the Buri Rasa village, where we are staying for the night. It's a resort that they call a village because it is actually themed that way. It's got its own little shops and a couple of restaurants, and just the way they've decorated it makes it seem like, well, a little village. It is right on the beach here at Thong Nai Pan Noi, so it's got its own beach bar and sunbeds. And then back from the beach, it's got a lovely swimming pool. And this is our room, which, as you can see, is a very nice space. It's not the biggest, but being a boutique hotel, it's all really nicely furnished. And right in front of me here, you've got a lovely shaded balcony that looks down over this quiet part of the hotel. So this room in this hotel cost us £64 for the night, and that included a really nice buffet breakfast this morning. But now it's time to get on the moped once again and go in search of that very famous viewpoint. What a service. The viewpoint in question lies at the end of a short hiking trail starting only a few miles away from town. But this place is no hidden gem. The Bottle Beach Viewpoint is known as one of the best viewpoints on the whole island, an overhanging rock that looks right down over the coastline and the amazing secluded beach that it's named after. But before we even left town, we got distracted by something else that we saw on the roadside. So we're just following the road from the beach up towards the viewpoint, but right at the top of the beach road there's this place called the Tipi Cantina, and it says it's a jewellery shop, a bar and a waterfall, so let's go and check it out. Wow, this is alright, isn't it? You literally walk through the little restaurant, there was actually nobody around when we were there, and then you come down the rocks, across this little wooden bridge, and there's a lovely little waterfall on the other side. It's one of those places, just off the road, a little bit hidden, but it's a lovely little peaceful oasis on the other side. From the falls, we continued along the steep roads towards the hiking trail, where we quickly discovered the first obstacle between us and that viewpoint. When the going gets tough, Ryan gets off the bike. Too bloody heavy. Right then, we've just made it up to what looks like the start of the trail. There's a little sign here saying you can park your bikes here for 10 baht, so we've done that. The road coming up was a little bit tricky. They're doing some road work, so there's quite a lot of sand on the ground, which can make it quite hard to ride over. But now we're going to start the trail, which I think is just up this way, and it should take about half an hour to get to that viewpoint. Let's do it.
Oh, you do have a timber?
Oh, do I?
Yeah! I like this cute little postbox. There you go.
Lovely. Is this why they call it Bottle Beach? Ah, okay. So So here is the official start of the trail. So it does look like you can drive up the road a little bit further and park your bikes over here for free as well. So could have saved ourselves 10 baht.
Yeah, but I didn't want to ride up that hill, so I'm fine with it.
Well, as you can see, it's a lovely sort of rainforest path. At the moment, it's very easy underfoot, very easy to walk on. Let's hope it stays like this. We started our climb at about 10 AM, so despite the parked bikes at the entrance, we didn't see anybody else on the trail, which is always a nice bonus. So this looks like we're heading up to the rock itself now. At this point, the trail did get pretty dense, with some very steep inclines and drops, until we eventually came out at a crossroads. So there's a little junction here where you can either take the sign that points down to Bottle Beach itself, so that goes down the mountain to the sand, or you can go up here to the viewpoint. That's where we're going. Now, this is where things started to get much more interesting, and when the hike really turns into, well, a bit of a climb. This is where I test my rock climbing skills. Oh, shit, my head. There are a couple of different routes that you can take over or around the rocks, which eventually brings you out onto that main overhanging section. Right then, we have made it up. And it looks pretty crazy.
That's nuts.
Well, even right at the back of the rock, the view down to the beach is pretty amazing. But that trail along the middle of the rock that hangs right over the edge looks pretty mental. There's quite a few people up there, so it's obviously doable. So just down to the left, that's Bottle Beach down there, and it looks really nice. I could do with a swim, to be honest, after this boiling hot hike. And that clear blue water looks very, very good, but it's a much longer hike to get down to there. So now if we want to get a bit closer, we need to figure out the best route. There's a way down to the right here, or some people are going straight down the middle, which is a bit like a tightrope walk, to be honest, but we'll see how it goes. If it's a bit too dangerous, we'll come back. Oh my God. I think the trickiest part so far is just how smooth the rock is. I've seen some people climbing up here in flip-flops, which I think is absolutely mental, but make sure you wear some good shoes with some grip. And it is doable, it is very doable. If I can do it, you can do it. I mean, no rock climbing experience here. Is that as far as you're going?
I'll wait here.
Okay, Emma's decided to stay at the end over there, and I don't blame her, it looks pretty scary. So I've come this far, and it actually does widen out a little bit. And luckily for me, the people on the end have just left, so I might just get the whole place to myself. So one last bit, let's do it. Wow, check this out. Insane. I'm so high up, I feel like I am a drone. I don't need a drone to see this view. I'm actually flying above the beach. It is insane. I've got to say the hike is more than worth it. When you get to the rock at the top, it starts off very, very narrow and quite scary, and that's when Emma gave up actually. She didn't fancy it, but it actually does widen out as you get towards the end. And by the time you get to here where I'm sitting, it actually feels quite safe, if I can use that word. But honestly, this is pretty incredible. Well, if I haven't said it enough already, it's definitely worth doing this hike. We're on the walk back to the bike now, and it is so worthwhile. If you do feel a bit uncomfortable when you get to the top there, don't push anything. There's no point taking any risks. But I will say it is worth it to get that final view. And a few weeks later, we came back to complete the Bottle Beach experience. The trip down to the shoreline is also really worthwhile. From the top, it's a relatively simple downhill jungle trail with only a few tricky sections. Some people choose to take a boat around to Bottle Beach and then hike up to the viewpoint from there, but doing things this way around where you get to do the hike downhill seems like a much easier option to me. And it didn't take long until we were rewarded with this very welcome sight. Well, it only took about 30-40 minutes to get down to the beach, and look at this. It's well worth the climb down. And you can even see the viewpoint from down here. It's quite a way up. Bottle Beach is genuinely one of the nicest beaches that you can find on Koh Phangan, and the fact that it's not so easy to get to means that it's always likely to be less crowded. But despite being so hidden, there's still plenty of places to grab some food and drink, and you can even stay the night here if you want to. And when you're finished, you can just find a boatman to take you back to wherever you want to go on the island. And as we were leaving, I think I might have recorded my best ever piece of footage. Here we go.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God.
The next morning, we left Koh Phangan to head out towards the third in this trilogy of islands in the south, taking the short trip across to another legendary Thailand destination. This is Koh Tao.